Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I am coloring up party animals here from Kraftin Kimmie Stamps. This is for their online Canada Day crop. I will have a link directly to the crop in the description box below. It's happening over on Facebook, so if you would like to be part of it, you can definitely jump in and join in on the fun, no problem. I am going to do this video in real time. It's fairly short. It's like 22 minutes of coloring or so it won't be too painfully bad, but you will see how slow I actually color in comparison to most of the videos that you see from me. I chose this stamp set simply because it feels very much like a party, like a birthday party, and one of the challenges over there is to create a birthday card because it is Canada's 150th birthday. So happy Canada Day to all of my fellow Canadians. It is July 1st right now. I hope you all have a fabulous day. So I'm starting off with YR24 and I'm going through and mapping in all of my darkest points. When it flips like that, you don't notice that as much when I speed up the videos, but that's where I've had to stop to either probably help my son or something of that nature. So I'm just going through and I'm adding in all of these darkest shadows, and then we will come in with our YR23 and blend that out. You guys might be able to hear the birds chirping in the background. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. And the coffee pot's going to beep right away. And it's a good morning. So YR23, and when I do this, I am going back over top of everything that I colored in previously with the YR24, just to make sure that I get a nice smooth blend between the two colors instead of looking like stripes around. So I always want to go back over my previous colors with my lighter color as I'm working through. I am coloring on Copic Express It blending card. This is my personal preference on paper. It's what I've started coloring on. I say this time and time again, pick a paper that you can afford to repurchase. I know that this one is fairly expensive. I splurge on it simply because I buy a ream every 1 to 2 years and I make a ton of cards. So it's worth it to me. It's what I learned to color on, so I just like to continue to do so. I hear lots of people love Nina, lots of people love Georgia Pacific. I guess you can get it at Walmart in the States. But this is my personal preference. So now I'm going through with Y26, which is going to dull down the color a little bit, but we'll brighten it up again with the next one. And again, just back over the previous colors and working to blend it out. It's definitely not a super speedy process. I know lots of people think I color really, really fast, simply because when I do most of my videos, they're like an hour plus of coloring. I find when I do girls and things with hair, and especially like Annie's images, the Moonlight Whispers from Kraftin Kimmie, there's so many pleats and so much hair and so much detail that it takes a long time to put that all together. Whereas I find things like this that are absolutely adorable, I can put together fairly fast. So that's part of why I chose this image to do. So you can see how when I go over with YR21, I think this color is, I can't see from here. It's 21 or 31, I think it's 21. It brightens it back up. So that's our little giraffe, and now we're going to go do his spots, and we're going to start that off with E31, or 37, pardon me. And I work dark to light on everything, unless I'm doing people hair or hair where I want to get the flicking motion in, then I go backwards. But 99% of the time I work dark to light. These guys are so cute. I love that monkey. He's like, I'm just going to hang out here, ride around on my giraffe. So I will have a link to this in the description box below, or to the stamp in the description box below, and like I said, also to the online crop over on Facebook. So if you guys want to join in, you can definitely do that. I know Kim usually leaves all of the challenges up for a full week, so everybody has lots of time to participate. You don't have to be sitting at home today. I know I'm not going to be around a whole bunch today. I got a slow pitch tournament and lots of things to go and do today. I'll pop in and out as I can on my phone. I do find with this full, like, real speed video, I don't have a lot to talk about. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to talk about for the next 15 minutes, which is probably a good thing. Everybody usually likes when I'm finally quiet. So this is E99. I wanted a nice warm orangey feeling color for the spots in the hooves and his muzzle. Just because the body of the giraffe I went really, really yellow with, so I kind of wanted to keep that super bright and warm feeling. So I went with the E90 markers. And that E37 just to give us a nice dark shadow, because I find that E99 is not dark enough for me. I usually like real bright, lots of contrast in my coloring. So just working our way through and taking my time, making sure that I go over all those other colors again to make sure everything's nice and blended. Oh, I'm not sure why I'm shaking the table. I'm sorry. It's moving a little bit. Oh, I do that all the time too. Open the wrong end of my marker. All the time. Even the ones I've put tape on to make sure I know. And then we're going to go over this with E95. I did have a yellow marker handy because I wasn't sure if this was going to be too pink, because the E95 is a fairly pink brown. But once I got it all on and blended together, I liked it, so I didn't bother. But if you don't like it, you can always layer over top of everything with like a YR31 or a YR21, and it'll warm it up a lot more yet. Oh, and that's for his tail there that I forgot to color in. And now I'm going to start working on the giraffe. And when I started on the giraffe, I took an R20 and I just added that straight into the ears right off the bat, so that when I go in with all of my grays, it will layer over top and you'll still be able to see a bit of that pink, but it will read mostly as gray, but he'll have that color up in his ears. So I'm going to start off with a C9. I'm coloring him, I don't know, he's like a middle gray color when I finish. But I'm coloring him up, and I'm going in with my C9 here to put in my darkest shadows. I'm following all of the artist drawn lines to put the shadows where something is behind the something in front of it. So this foot I'm working on right now is behind his front foot. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to put some shading just on the bottom of his foot, and then I'll go up around the side here where it is behind that back leg coming across the front. Coffee's ready. Now I'm not sure what I was going to do, so I'm thinking about it here. I am going to put some shading along the bottom of his leg and up the back side of him just a little bit, not all the way. And then we'll put some shading here because that is in front of his body. And then I'll go underneath of his neck so that his head looks like it's sitting kind of in front of everything else, right? Because it's all pushed forward. So it's just about figuring out what's in front of something else as to where you need a drop shadow. Oh, now my hand's in the way. There you go. So on his little ear there. And then I'm going to go across the top underneath of his party hat. Yay for party hats. A little bit on his nice round cheek there underneath his mouth. Just going to give some shading to the face to make it look nice and round when we're finished with it. At some point here, my son's hand comes in because he's like, "Hey Mom, look at this." And I'm like, "Hey Caleb, the camera's on." And he's like, "Oh." It was really funny. Marking off on his little nose wrinkles there. And then I'll put some shading on the bottom side of his trunk. I would make elephant noises here, but I don't know how. So I won't make elephant noises here. Little more shading on this other ear, our darkest color, and then we'll come in with C7 next. And again, just like I kept saying on the giraffe and in every other video I do with my markers, you make sure you go over top and color completely back over those dark line, that darkest color. Oh, wow, I stumbled over that. You color completely over that darkest color and pull it out into your white image as you use your lighter colors. It'll just give you a nicer blend and a smoother transition between all of your colors. So, oh, the cat is making noises. Anyway, so as you go over top of all of this, it will blend out nicely and more seamlessly into your lighter colors than if you just kind of keep coloring around and around and around. You end with like a striped elephant, which could be super fun. I think I may have to do a zebra striped elephant. That would be hilarious. Anyway, sorry, tangent. So now as you go through, there's not as much to contemplate because you've already got your darkest color in there, so you're just going right over top of everything you've done before. I do know some people find it very, very scary to go in with such a super dark color as your first marker. You can definitely take, when I started doing this, I always started with my lightest marker and I would mark all of my shadows in with my very lightest color and then to go to my darkest color. Then if I had marked anything in that I didn't actually want as my lightest color or as my darkest color, I could just ignore it. And because it was so light, it didn't matter that I put it in the wrong place. Because as I went over everything and did the other colors, it blended right in and you didn't even see it. So if you're a little bit afraid to grab your darkest color and start there, you can definitely start with your lightest to map it all out for yourself. So this is our C5, and we're just continuing to blend everything out. Slowly but surely, we will get to the end. So we're just going to go through and work on these. These guys are so cute. I love this stamp. I've had it forever. Well, I bought it when it got released. And I'm always like, I need to color that. And then I'm like, forget about it, or something else comes up. Or so when we were having a birthday challenge, now that I'm blessed to be part of Kraftin Kimmie's design team, I was like, ooh, I know what I'm coloring. I'm coloring up those party animals. Yes, yes. So we're getting close to the end of the elephant here. And you can see how everything's starting to blend together and he's looking like a adorable gray elephant. And I did start going over top with this color, with these colors. Here I'm going to do it again over top of the pink that I had put in the ear. I wanted to keep the inside of the ears a lighter color. But when I'm finished, you'll be able to see how that pink kind of shows through the ears still, even though we did color it in gray. Then I'm coming back with my C1. And we're going to work that over top of the other colors. I do fill the rest in with this color. And that will be the end of our blend on him. I do his toenails with this color as well. I've been avoiding them up until now because I wanted to keep them nice and light compared to the rest of the image, and I wasn't too worried about shading in them. So as I went over everything here to blend it all together, I used that just straight over top of the toenails. Now we're going to work on our little monkey, and I'm going to do his body and his ears with the E70 markers, and I'm starting with E77. And again, I'm going through and I'm just mapping out where my darkest shadows are going to be. Like I said on the elephant, you could do this with your lightest color as opposed to your darkest color. It just depends on what you feel comfortable with. So get this all mapped out on his little skinny body. He's so adorable. And then we'll come in with E74 and blend all that, start working on blending that. You could get away with 2 colors in his body, honestly, easily, because it's so skinny, especially this part. But I'm absolutely ridiculous and over the top and always need to put in way too many colors. So that's what I'm going to do as I grab out my E70 watt. And continue to blend those. And I do bring in the E70 as well, just make sure everything is nice and blended and to lighten up those highlights just a little bit. And then we'll use our E40s for the rest of his body. I wanted to give him two different tones of brown instead of just going way lighter for the other part. I just found that I would get a little bit better contrast. So I'm going to start with my E44, and I'm just going to give him some shadows on the one side of his face with this color. I wanted to keep his body looking really, really light, like his tummy and his face, but I still wanted some really good shadows in there. So this was the way I went about that. And then E43, and we'll work on blending those shadows out. A little bit on his nose. And then we got E42. And this is where I'll come around on the other side to start creating that roundness to his face, so that it is still darker where the face is curving around and you're looking behind. Oh, I'm going to get the hiccups. Not right now. E41. I love this monkey. I love coloring critters. As much as I love doing people, I love coloring critters. So fun. E40. And that's the end of that part. Now I'm going to come in with a couple of pinks to do his nose and his ears. And this is R22. And we're going to blend that out with R30. R30. So that's that. Now we're going to work on the party hats. On our party hats, our darkest color is BG09. So they're all going to get teal-based party hats. I have not forgot about the little bird in the corner. I just didn't know what color I wanted to make him. I will do his party hat as I do everybody else's. So I'm going to put the shadow on my left, your right hand side. Well, on this side, you can see. I never know what side to call it because when I'm coloring it, it's my left hand side. Yeah, we'll go with that. Sorry. I have no idea. And then BG07, and we'll work on blending that all out. I didn't put the BG9 into the little bird's hat simply because there's not a lot of space in there, and I wanted to make sure, here's Caleb's hand, I wanted to make sure that you could tell that it was teal as opposed to just looking really, really dark. So I just started with the BG07 in his tiny little hat. And then our next color is BG05. This is currently my favorite teal combination. I've been using it lots. I go in spurts. I don't know. It's summer. I like bright, fun, vivid colors. A little bit in the birdie's hat. Then our next color will be BG02. And we're going to blend that all together. And then we'll come in with some purples, and I'll do all the spots and the other stripes and things on their hats with a nice bright purple color. And I'm going to start with V09. The little pom-poms on the top I am going to do white. I'm also going to do, like on the giraffe's hat and on the elephant's hat, there's the little brim color. I'm going to make that purple as well. Almost forgot about it on the elephant. So that's V09. And then I'm going to come in with V06 and start blending all of that together. Again, going over top of our darkest color and pulling it into the white area in order to get a smooth transition between all of our colors. I don't know if the microphone's loud enough to pick up the birdie outside. V05 is my next lightest color, and then I'll come in with a V01 and blend it all together. I tend to skip the V04 a lot of the time. I find it very, very fluorescent, which isn't always the color I'm after. So I do skip it in depending on how I feel. This one I did, they're quite small areas too, so I figured it's easy to leave it out. There's their party hats. And now we're going to do our little bird. I'm going to come in with Y17. I wasn't sure if I was going to do him yellow or blue, and I decided yellow, even though the giraffe is yellow. So Y13 and Y11 is our lightest color for this. Aren't they adorable? They're so cute, you guys. So W1 and W00 for the tops here, and I'm also going to use that on the bottom to create a little bit of shading for our critters here. Oh, maybe I just used W1. I did just use W1. That works. Oh, maybe not. I fibbed. So again, I will have the link to the online crop, the image, my blog, and my Cards in Color Facebook page in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.